Hi guys, welcome to Gunners NG. Today we have a special guest, and as you can see, we are not wearing our jerseys. I have a special guest here, a friend, colleague, brother to me. We are namesakes, by the way. His name is Tunde. Good to have you on Gunners NG today.
Thanks, my brother. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's good to have you.
It's good to have you. I hope you're ready.
Yeah, I'm ready. Today is going to be an interesting one. Today
I'm bringing nothing more than facts. Nothing less than facts, my brother.
He's been telling me that he's bringing nothing less than facts, and I told him that he talks about facts on a daily basis. But today we are talking about a different ball game entirely. Well, to continue, Tunde is a Chelsea fan, yes, and as you all know, I'm an Arsenal fan. Today we'll be talking about our top 5. Tunde will be telling you about his top 5 Chelsea players of all time, and I'll do the same for Arsenal. Then we'll go on to the interesting part, which is where we talk about who had the better impact on their club.
Yes.
AKA Igwe or
Didier Drogba, the one and only.
All right. So let's get the ball rolling. I know people are eager to know. So we'll start from the bottom up. And since you're our guest, we'll let you go first. Who's your number 5 Chelsea player of all time?
Well, top 5 Chelsea players of all time.
Let's start from number 5. Just give us number 5, and you tell us why he's number 5.
I'm going to limit myself from 2003 till date, all right. Because that was when I believe most people even started supporting Chelsea. Yeah. So for me, my number 5, I think I'll have to go with Petr Cech.
Petr Cech, yeah.
At the time, it was signed from Rennes in France. £7 million,
Seems like chop change now.
You understand, for that quality of player,
Okay.
and he was at several times considered, one of the best, if not the best goalkeeper in the world at the time. Yeah. So I just have to. He has to be in my top 5.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, I agree with you. Top Cech has to be in. If you're looking at it from 2003 to date, I think Cech has to be in any Chelsea fans' top 5. For me, my number 5, I give him number 5 because I wouldn't be an Arsenal fan if not for him, basically. And I think most Nigerians too won't be Arsenal fans if not for this particular player. He's no other person than our very own Papilo. I believe many Nigerians wouldn't have been Arsenal fans if not for Papilo. So for me, while his accomplishments might not have been great compared to some others in Arsenal,
okay, you're looking at his impact.
His impact for me to become an Arsenal fan. That's what for me. That's why he's my number 5 player. And let me rub salt into the injury. One of Kano's best performances was
against Chelsea.
Chelsea.
The
hat-trick.
Yeah.
For all my Arsenal guys out there, you can't forget that hat-trick now. From 2-0 down, and Papilo came and did his magic. So for me, that alone makes him my number 5. So let's move on.
Okay.
Number 4.
My number 4. This is a very difficult one, but I just have to go with Makaleli. Because I think he's one of those players that don't get the credit he fully deserves.
Yeah.
If you remember at the time, he was practically run out of Real Madrid,
because he didn't.
They didn't value him enough, and we all know what happened to Madrid after he left.
True.
And we all know what he did, what he brought to Chelsea. Because if not for him playing that defensive midfield position, which coincidentally has now been named after him as the Makaleli position. I don't think Chelsea would have been able to dominate, for a few years the way they did. So it has to be in my number 4.
I agree with that. Makaleli was a machine. Makaleli, the only person that reminds me of Makaleli today, and fortunately you guys have him, is Kante.
Yes, but they are different kind of players.
Yeah, they're different kind of players, but maybe it's their physical mold and the Kante of Leicester City.
Yes.
The Kante of Leicester City. So
But for me, I've still not seen any defensive midfielder like Makaleli.
Yeah. Kante moves forward. He goes.
Yes, he's more of a box to box.
The Makaleli minds his own. He just mans that defensive midfield,
and he does it in a way that is calm, is composed, is like the guy. And another thing, because football has also evolved.
Yeah.
So I don't feel especially in English football, the defensive midfield position is not the way it used to be.
Actually.
So even now, as a defensive midfielder, you have to be able to carry the ball. You have to
have some distribution skills.
You understand? But at the time when Makalele came into the Premier League, don't forget, most teams were playing a 4-4-2.
Yes, and you had the one in front of the 4.
Yes, you understand.
Yeah.
And him playing the defensive midfield in a kind of way that he played it was new.
Yeah.
In English football at the time. So I mean, to me, he's the greatest defensive midfielder ever.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah, actually, I do have no argument with that. If you say he's a great, true, I agree with that. I concur totally. Yeah. For me, my number 4. Wow. They said that this is my number 4 on my list. They said that no matter how you give him the ball, he has the ability to control it. Pass it anyhow to him. Pass it in the way that is wrong. He will still calm the ball down.
I have an idea what you're talking about. Well, I'll let you.
He's a menace. He's a menace. They call him Menace. And who is no other person than Dennis the Menace Bergkamp. Premier League cannot forget that goal against Newcastle. The ball came from Pire on the left. Put the ball here when the defender was in no man's land. Oh my God. You know, you can't talk about Dennis Bergkamp enough. And I think any Arsenal fan that says, this is my top 5 and he's not there, well, I don't know what you have been watching since. So for me, I think he's number 4 on my list just because of his sheer quality, his ability. He's a number 10, his distribution, his pass. He doesn't score. But
a funny question though, for me, I've always been confused as to what his true position was.
He's a supporting striker.
Yeah, because he's not a pure striker. And at the same time, he's not a pure number 10.
Yeah, he's a support. You know, in traditional football of 4-4-2, so you have in the midfield, you have your number 10, you have your number 7, you have your number 11, then you have your number 4. Then in forward, you have your number 8 and 9. So he's a number 8. And your number 8 is that person that needs to have the ability to hold the ball. You should have the abilities of a number 9 and a number 10 at the same time. So if your number 10 could be like marked out of a game, you can still hold and distribute to your other people. And if in chance you are open, you should also be able to bury the goal.
True.
So I think that's what those were his exact qualities, and that's who he was as now. That's why you see most times he and Henry play together alongside each other.
True.
Yeah. So
I don't think he scored enough goals.
No,
I think that's one criticism people have always had against.
But the thing is, like I said, the number 8 is not meant to score
that much. It's meant to be more of a facilitator.
Exactly. But when you get the chance, bury it. So yeah, he's my number 4. So
okay.
Your number 3.
Interesting so far.
Yeah.
Well, my number 3, for me, this is a guy I consider he has to be one of the best, English products till date. He has to be one of the best centre backs in the world. The world has ever made. The one and only John Terry.
Hey, John.
Life
on the line, John.
Do you understand? Like, what can I say about this guy? Like, I don't think we've ever gotten another centre back like John Terry. Like, put it all on the line. A centre back that will make you feel his presence. At the height of his game, like, I don't think I've ever seen John Terry had a bad game. I'm talking about from 2004 till about 2008. To watch a John Terry play and you're like, man, he had a bad game. I can't remember John Terry having a bad game. So for me, and what makes it even more sentimental for me is because, like, he's a Chelsea product.
Yeah.
From the academy.
Yeah.
So for him to rise to become, for me, the best centre back I have seen played for the club. I think it has to be number 3 on my list.
Yeah, no centre back has done it like Terry at Chelsea. Yeah, he has to be there.
The closest I can think of in the Premier League is maybe, if you remember his rivalry with maybe him and Ferdinand and Vidic.
Yeah.
Those two are the only ones that I think were that dominant.
More Vidic.
Yeah, it's more even Vidic, yes.
Than even Ferdinand, because Vidic was a rock, man. Yeah. That's a wonderful number 3, man. Spot on.
I'm daring you to top that.
Yeah. For me, my number 3, man. When you're talking of somebody that can play, he's a machine. He's all over the field. All the grass on the field.
I know where you're going.
He's a fighter. He's a fighter.
Of course, he's a fighter.
He's a leader. He's a charger. When people see him, they're already afraid, terrified. That he's going to. Sports fans know how it is. Man U fans, Roy Keane knew. He felt it. He's no other person than our visionary captain of the leader of the invisible team. You know what I'm talking about? Patrick Vieira.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. I think growing up for me too, watching Arsenal, I think if there was one player I would have loved to have been, other than Thierry Henry, I think it would have been Patrick Vieira.
Yeah.
Because I think they just don't make box-to-box midfielders like that again.
Not
Do you know how difficult for you to play in a 4-4-2 system and cover the whole pitch? From attack to defense? Because I think then your only handcall was, I think, Gilberto Silva.
Yeah, Gilberto Silva.
Yeah, so Vieira could go, with those his long legs.
That's the thing. That's the weird thing about it, because he's tall and he have that energy to still go up and down.
Up and down.
No.
He could mix it up.
Yeah.
He could play with finesse. If you want to be rough, he could. His impact on Arsenal was largely missed when he left. True.
And I think he left.
You never got a player like that again.
Arsenal made him leave too early. At least he still had 2-3 more years to give, and he would have 2 Fabregas more into the role. So yeah, that's my number 3. So let's now top 2 time. Top 2.
Well, I mean, if you're a Chelsea fan, you could predict who the top 2 will be. But for me, going in number 2, I think it has to be Didier Drogba. What can I say about this guy? He's the king, he's the beast, he's a big game player. I think when you're talking about big games, I don't think you would see many players that were big game players like Didier Drogba, considering the fact that he was at Chelsea for all those years, the winning mentality he brought to the team. People also forget, it's not like he started well. His first season in Chelsea, he struggled. He was even planning to go back to Marseille. At a point,
when Crespo was performing better.
You understand? But for him to do all and then delivering the Champions League in 2012, in the way he did, and also,
as an Arsenal fan,
also all the torture he put Arsenal fans through. So for me, I think we've not really the closest we've seen to someone like him maybe is Lukaku. And even Didier Drogba in his prime, if you remember the 2009-2010 season, when he was just unplayable. He's fast, he's strong, he could bully you, he could,
oh my God,
the only thing I think about Drogba is imagine he had better finishing. Imagine he had better finishing.
Crazy,
so for me, it has to be my number 2. It has to be my number 2.
I agree with that. For me, my number 2 Arsenal player, they called him true left leg, but the way he marshaled that left wing for Arsenal, for the 5 seasons where Arsenal was just nobody could handle him. You know him already now. He and my number 1, they were just on that left wing, damaging people, killing people left, right, and center. And by the time he ties that thing around his hair and puts his hair on his Robert Pires. 2 left leg. It was the winger that gives you at least 15-16 goals every season, delivering assist upon assist, being a menace to left backs. I think
I think I have to respect that. And Pires is one of those players that he's also another kind of player that I think the combination he had with Thierry Henry, I think it's one of those things that is difficult for you to replicate. You probably would never see that again.
Maybe what happened is because they are both French. So maybe when they're on that wing, they just be speaking French, and the English defenders could not understand
what they were saying.
Merci.
Because I think at the time, he was one of those first. Correct me if I'm wrong. He was one of these first players that started playing not as a pure winger. More as an inverted winger. Because if you at the time, teams play 4-4-2. So the winger is just supposed to get the ball, run down the wing and cross. But Pires said no. Sometimes it would cut inside. Sometimes it would roam from the wing to create space for Ashley Cole. If you remember, and then what him and Henry did.
Oh my God.
You guys used to kill teams just coming off that left. Because teams would try to overload that side. Before they'll create space for Lumberg. You understand?
Oh my God.
So
yeah. That's true.
Okay, my number 1, of course, we know who it is. No need to drag this on. He's the one and only Frank Lampard.
Frank.
He's for me, he's the best English midfielder of his generation. I mean, he could score, he could create. For you to be a midfielder and have how many consecutive seasons, double figures of goals?
Man, almost. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Do you understand? He's
17, 16, 18.
And people don't understand how difficult that is.
Lampard!
Because if you remember, Lampard didn't play as an attacking midfielder. Lampard was a center midfielder that would make those late runs into the box at the right time. I mean, I just to me, and then a midfielder breaking the highest goal scoring record
for a club.
For a club.
Just to show you how
do you understand? Goes to show you how and we've never gotten another midfield. All these players, right? These players in my top 5. They are players that we've never been able to replace them adequately. Yeah. And maybe probably would not.
Like, one would think that Hazard, given his technique, level of skill, one thing he didn't just have that thing that Hazard. I mean, Lampard has been at the right place at the right time. Yeah, no.
It's almost like you knew he was going to score in a match.
Lampard. Oh, I dreaded hearing that. Yeah, that's a worthy number one. Very worthy number one. Yes, and my number one. If you're an Arsenal fan, if he's not your number one, I don't know who you carry to be your number one. Maybe you carry Joe or Senderos to be your number one. But he's so good they had to give him a name. Yes, we had to give him Igwe, Premier League Hall of Famer, Arsenal record goal scorer. I can't. His CV is too long. I can't read it, but he's a worthy number one for Arsenal. And even if we are talking of top 10, top 5 in the Premier League players of all time, there's no way he can still.
No, what do you mean top 5? Top 3.
Top 3. Premier League just did their Hall of Fame.
Top 3.
They started Hall of Fame this year, and top 2, Alan Shearer, Henry. So,
I mean, what he did in the Premier League, and to think that he came to Arsenal as a winger.
Yeah.
And those goals. Remember, like Henry was one of those first strikers that's like, when he would open up his body, those finesse.
No, anybody that's playing PS4, playing pressing the R2, it's because of
Henry. You
get that R2 button is because of Henry.
And then he wasn't the biggest, but the way defenders would bounce off him, so fast. And for me, another thing I like about Henry is like the mental strength, the belief in himself. You don't get that. Many players like, I'm good. I know I'm good. Yeah. I just have to do what I have to do. Yeah. You understand? You don't. Many players, especially this generation, you have to massage their ego.
Oh my God!
You have to.
God. The thing just used to vex.
You understand? The guy was.
You don't need to tell him anything. Just goes there and delivers, man.
Yeah, and I think his record was only broken by Aguero.
Yeah.
Like highest foreign player to score in the Premier League.
Yeah. Aguero, yeah.
So, I mean, imagine Henry was playing in this Man City team.
Oh my God.
Or imagine a prime Henry in prime Barcelona.
Oh my God.
He went to Barcelona, I think, when he was 31 or so. Imagine a 26, 27, 28-year-old Henry playing with Messi and Ronaldinho and Eto'o.
Oh my God. I don't even want to think about it. I don't even want to think about it. But yeah, that's it. That's our top 5 players for Chelsea and for me for Arsenal. We would like to hear from you. We'd like to know your own top 5 players. Even if you are a Man U fan, just drop your top 5 players. Let's know who they are. Let's.
But for me, I'm kind of shocked you didn't mention some names.
Like who, please?
I would have thought you'd have put David Seaman.
David Seaman. Well, David Seaman was good, but man, he wasn't. When you put Czech in here, Czech was. When you talk of 10 clean sheets in a row.
True. In a row.
Seaman didn't have records like that. The highest number of clean sheets in a season. Seaman didn't have records like that. Like Arsenal would win, but Arsenal weren't winning like 4-0. They win like 5-3. 4-2. So
the keeper was not winning games on his own.
On his own for them. So yeah, Seaman was good. But one cannot forget that Ronaldo. This is not Arsenal, but Ronaldinho's free kick against England. So those kind of things.
That was poor goalkeeping.
Yes, right. There's those areas. Arsenal have never just had that keeper that one will say, man, this guy. So unfortunately, it wasn't my top 5. Yeah.
So in a 5-a-side team, who do you think would win? My top 5 versus your top 5.
I think my top 5, my
really?
My top 5 would win.
Think about what you are saying.
Yes. Now look at my team now.
Against Czech, John Terry, Makalele, Lampard, Drogba.
Okay. The sad thing about my own top 5 is that I don't have a goalkeeper. That's the only sad thing about my top 5. But when you're looking at Papillo, I have only attackers. Vieira, Pire, Henry. Then who again? Dennis Bergkamp. Oh no, we're gonna hold the ball now.
And another thing for me, just as an aside, that is kind of sad is the state of Nigerian football. Because just think of the Kano uncles, the JJ Okocha. Imagine they were developed at a very early age.
Yeah.
And they got an opportunity, to play in some of the biggest clubs at the age of 18, 19, 20.
Yeah.
And we've not really learnt our lessons from that. Even as at now.
How you know our football has deteriorated is people don't care anymore.
True.
People don't care if we win, if we lose.
I mean, I know people that don't even know when Nigeria is playing.
Yeah, I as a sport enthusiast that I am, our last qualifiers against Congo, I was just going to buy stuff and I was like, why are these people gathered? I said, we're watching Nigeria. And as I said that's when the Congo people scored us. Or CAR.
Oh, God.
CAR scored us. And I was like, oh. And before everybody will be at their TV watching. People. So, look, the NFF, they might be making dollars off of, all the FIFA revenue. But if your people don't feel that anymore, you've actually lost touch. And I think it's sad for Nigerian football.
Well, but coming back to what we're talking about, if you really think your top 5 will beat my top 5.
No. Thinking about it now, no.
I mean, Lampard will kill you guys. Drogba will kill you guys. And John Terry and Makelele will hold that defense.
No. One thing, when you just said top 5, I didn't know the argument to take this direction because I would have then put some key people. But as it is, I don't even have a goalkeeper. You can shoot from anywhere and score.
Even if you put Seaman, we'll still win.
No, if I put Seaman, we'll try now. We'll try. Seaman, Vieira, Pire, Dennis. No.